Welcome to the HVAC Financial Freedom Podcast, a show where we talk about HVAC business ownership and financial freedom by sharing stories and advice of experts who can help you get there. Now your host, John Victoria.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HVAC Financial Freedom Podcast. We are here with another episode with a very special guest, Mr. Joe Person. And a quick story, me and Joe actually met, it was about a few months ago at the ACCA, the Air Conditioning Contractors of America Conference. We ran into each other, and I actually have some of the swag that he gave me from back then. The Go Time book right here.
Yeah,
we
buddy.
have, what is this? This is the
Callback preventer.
callback preventer.
Yeah. So ideally, you're supposed to, technicians, right? Hang your keys on that, whether it's on the gas valve or the outdoor disconnect. And guess what? If your keys are there, you're not going to leave the call and leave the customer's unit powered down or no ability for it to run with gas. You got to get your keys. So callback preventer.
Amen to that. So yeah, we're definitely going to talk more about the book and everything a little bit later. But first, just want to, do a quick intro. Joe, for the folks who don't know you just yet, could you give them a quick background as to who you are and what is it you do?
Yeah. Awesome, man. So my name is Joe Person. I work for a company called Go Time Success Group. I handle most of the sales for the company and the sales class. So I teach a residential HVAC sales class about 8 times a year at our company headquarters in Hurst, Texas. I'll talk to you about the lab here in just a little while. And then I also teach that same class for selling technicians at ServiceTitan Alliance headquarters just a couple times a year. And that's always a blessing because those classes are super full. There's, 20, 25 people in there. And I just love, I love giving back to these contractors. A little bit about my background. I've worked in the trade since about the end of 2011. I had a buddy that was working down in Tampa. He was a comfort advisor. He was killing it. I was in a position in my life where I had sold a fitness company that I had owned with multiple locations, that I started out west in Colorado. And I kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do when I grew up, when I got out of that company. So here I am in my 30s and I don't know, kind of where I want to go, but I know I want to do something that's going to be kind of recession proof and really kind of be something smart to do. So I chose HVAC, went to a little trade school and, learned what I needed to learn. Didn't spend a whole lot of time in the field. Actually, my strengths were behind the scenes and pumping some other guys up. So I very quickly ended up in leadership and got into coaching and training around 2015, 16. And, kind of the rest is behind me. I kind of rocketed through the industry pretty quick.
That's amazing. And so that was 2015. And then what's the gap between how you were there and then you coming to Go Time? Did you join Go Time in 2015 or were there other things before you became an official trainer with Go Time?
Yeah. Good question. So I actually used to work for another coaching company, Service Excellence Training. My buddy Todd Lyles runs that. And around 2015, actually 2014, I started working with them. And so the gaps, there really aren't gaps. I was a moderator for ServiceTitan Alliance in that time as well. I was also still working actively. I was a general manager. I was a sales manager for a little while. I've been active in the trades, the whole time. I haven't been without a position. But to answer the question, Go Time, that relationship, Go Time's a relatively new company. Doesn't mean that it's that we're all new at what we do. It's just a relatively new company, kind of started around 2018. So, kind of right when they got started and, we're ready to hit the streets pretty hard. Chris Hunter and I had a conversation and I decided that this was going to be my new home. These guys are amazing people, amazing leaders. They, are kind of close to even you, right? We live every day inside of our core values, and our core values at Go Time are humble, are integrity, are magnanimous, are transformative educators, and are massive action takers. And John, one thing I can tell you about you is, brother, I have noticed that you are a massive action taker. To kind of talk about that story you started to bring up, when we met in St. Louis at the bar. I was just kind of sitting in there looking around, right? I don't really know anybody. I didn't really have, I just arrived and, I'm kind of looking up on the ceiling and seeing all those lights and all that. And Mr. Massive Action Taker comes up to me and introduces himself and, tells me about his podcast and, hey man, you want to be on it? I'm like, dang, who's this dude? So I appreciate that ability. The rest of my squad, the rest of my team, they all live inside of those core values as well. So good job there, man, being a massive action taker.
Thank you. And I'll say it's something that doesn't come natural to me. I am definitely more of an introvert, so being there, it was definitely a little bit out of my element. But I'm a big believer that even if you do feel uncomfortable, sometimes you do have to push yourself outside of that to help make a difference. And so I'm so glad we connected and we can hash out some really cool stuff on the podcast for today.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's dive into just more about Go Time and what you guys do. I mean, there's so much. You guys have the book, school, you have the online university, coaching and training. There's so much for us to unpack, and I'd love to just, maybe we could just start off like what are the types of companies you help? Like maybe it could be the size and what are some of the problems that they're facing, just to contextualize more about like how you guys or who you serve, and then
Yeah.
connect that to what you guys do.
Awesome. So go time from a 5 or even a 10,000 foot view. We're a team, a large team of just a bunch of contractors, honestly, that have been very good at structuring business, running business, selling business, and having repeatable processes, right? Kind of even structuring, inside and around that book. So, from a 5,000 foot view, I think, we're all pretty passionate about, giving back to the contractor and making it easier. I think, one comment I can say is success leaves clues. And I say it a lot, right? Well, those clues are they're not difficult. You get out, you find those clues, you implement them and you become successful yourself. So with all the things that we do, I think, one of the main things we do is we give back and we're all very passionate about that. And I think that's awarded us some opportunities to work with some really awesome contractors. It seems like over the past couple of years, our primary niche and the companies that we serve best have been around 5 million and less. And I think the reason for that is because they're the ones that need the help, right? They're right on the brink of explosive growth. They're right on the brink of, of putting processes and things into place, making things repeatable. A lot of the companies that we help don't have this stuff yet. So when we dive in and we dissect and we start to implement some of these strategies for process development change, it really has a huge impact on their company and they catapult growth. And I think that's really kind of where we exist. Now, I don't want to fast forward too fast, but I will bring this up just really quick. GoTime is also a certified partner or a certified provider for ServiceTitan, which means we're certified through that software to work on companies, work on their settings and help them create clarity in the software. Really what that means, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because, man, we've had companies that are, 100 plus, 200 plus million that we're doing work for. So, to say that we only help companies 5 million and less would be far fetched. We certainly do more. We just kind of in the coaching and in the training realm, that's where we seem to have the most success.
I love it. And as you were speaking, it reminded me of if you've ever heard of the ESBI matrix by Robert Kiyosaki. It's if you can imagine, like it's a quadrant. The top left is employed, bottom left is self-employed, top right is business owner, and then the bottom top right is business owner, and bottom right is investor. And one of the topics we've talked about with a number of our past guests is that people, some technicians who started out their business, they originally were just really good in the field, but they never necessarily learned a lot of the business skills in order to be able to build a business that runs without them. And sometimes some people say that, I mean, you don't really have a business until if you can step away and it can continue to run and grow without you. And so what it sounds like is that you are helping to make that transition from someone who doesn't necessarily have the business background and abilities, but they have the technical skills, but how do you shift them from just being the self-employed person who might be putting out all these fires all day to someone that is a true business owner and has a company with enterprise value, which is so difficult to train, but that's what you guys do in a sense. Um,
Yeah.
is
We
that a
even
bit?
have a class. We even have a class that we teach throughout the year, that really is based around getting out of the truck and getting into the profits of your business. And that's, it's important that we touch on that, because like you just kind of highlighted, and I'm going to agree with you. A lot of these guys are very good at being technicians. A lot of them are not the very best at being business owners, and that's not putting them down. They have the potential. They've just never
Yeah.
been shown. So when you guide them and you show them the light, it's like, like I said before, explosive growth, because they are massive action takers, and that's why we click. That's why they hire us, because it feels right, feels good.
I love it. And it's also a bit of an identity shift as well. And I'm wondering if you could speak to that, because it really is, you're becoming someone different. You're becoming a true business owner versus the technician. Could you speak to like, what does that mental journey look like? How you coach someone through that experience? I guess more on a tactical level, because it's, it's tough. Like an old version of yourself is dying and you're becoming someone new. You're being
Yeah.
reborn.
So Chris Hunter says this all the time. It's the first chapter in our book, and I can highlight that for this experience. Start with the end in mind. And I think that'd be valuable for anybody that is on a growth journey mentally, because, what are we doing it for? And I say that to really kind of say this. Uh, the most successful contractors that we work with, they have a positive attitude and a positive mindset toward change. A lot of contractors don't have a positive attitude and a positive mindset toward change. Not only that, they don't want to change. They want to keep things on paper. They want to do things old school. They don't like iPads. They don't like iPhones. They don't like the Apple Watch. They're old school, and it's okay. They might take care of their customer very well, but that's just not our customer, and that's okay. I didn't say that we can't help them still. We absolutely can. But what I'm saying is you have to want it, and you have to have the attitude and the mindset of growth. It has to be there. So in order to get out of the truck, right, and kind of get into the profits of your business, you got to have your mindset in check. You got to have the right attitude toward growth and change.
Amen to that. And there's a great book in case anyone wants to check it out. It's called Mindset by Carol Dweck. There's two types of mindsets. There's the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. Fixed mindset just means that you believe that your traits are static and you don't really want to change. While being in a growth mindset means that you can acknowledge like where you're currently at, but you're open to changing, you're open to growing, and you're open to developing skills because you don't always have to be where you're currently at. And I feel like the growth mindset is necessary to make that transition from truck to, hey, like I am a true business owner. I'm running this enterprise. Um,
Correct.
love it.
And then to add to that, the enterprise isn't running me.
Yeah. Because that's what happens, right? I mean, I've experienced it myself where the business owner becomes the bottleneck for everything in the business. Everything is routed through them. No one has necessarily like complete autonomy. It's always routed through them. And so if the business owner is out or sick or something happens, a lot of stuff stops. And that can be a scary place to be, especially if, because a lot of the people I talk to, they're always focused on legacy. Like, how do I build something that can go beyond myself? But if it's so dependent on you,
Yeah,
yeah,
make it repeatable. That'd be one of the best ways to have something sustainable over time is repeatable processes that are easy to identify and easy to learn.
yes. And do you guys have a process for building process? Like what does that look like? Because I think that's like the big money question, right? Like how do I turn what I do into something that's repeatable?
Well, we have to dive in. What we have the benefit of and the luxury of is working with contractors of all shapes and sizes from all over the country. They're all different size companies. They all have different strengths and weaknesses. They all have different wants and desires inside their companies. So we can tailor whatever their needs are, right? So usually what would happen in an engagement for like a coaching style arrangement is we would usually go out on site first and we would witness the customer experience. We would witness how the phone rings, what's being said on the calls. We would witness a lot of the things that are happening on day to day. That would allow us to kind of look through our 10,000-foot view of a company and say, okay, here's the things they're doing right. Here's the things they're not doing right. Then we kind of highlight those things to the owner or to the person that, that we're there with and for. And we say, hey, here's some of the things that we noticed. And, out of these things, what do you think would, you want to work on? Well, they tell us what they want to work on. And then it's our job to design, a customized or a tailored training platform or outline for that customer over, a length of time. So I can't really say that there's like a template because there's not, right? There's never, there isn't a template in that level of success in business. We just have to dive in and see the do's, the don'ts, and then, kind of help them start to create that vision, that mindset for growth, kind of paint the picture for them to see how, here's some best practices, some industry best practices, and here's what it looks like. And usually most contractors that hire us, right, they're excited to see growth and change. They are. So they're just like, yeah, let's do it. They can't wait to get started. So, it kind of allows us to develop kind of a blueprint for what they're going to see, over the coming months.
Gotcha. And that's so valuable, just like you guys coming in, because most of us are like fish in water. Like, we don't realize what we're surrounded with and all the things that are happening. And so by you guys coming in with your unbiased eyes and an understanding of the best practices, you're able to craft a blueprint, like you said, of something that will actually work for them. That's based off of data, based off experience. And it takes the business owner, it gives them something that they didn't otherwise have in the past. And so that's really amazing.
Usually the types of companies that hire us, they've never had something like this, right? The business has been running them since they started it. They're at a point now where they're starting to engage and they're online and they're seeing other things. And they're like, man, how are all these other companies so largely successful? Well, because they're doing things that you're not doing, right? They have repeatable processes. They have employee handbooks. They have org charts. They have these types of things. They divide responsibilities. They conquer the day. The day doesn't conquer them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and like you said, success leaves clues. So, why try to reinvent the wheel, right? There's been so many successful contracting companies. We already got that blueprint, at least a framework for it. Why reinvent the wheel again? Speed up your success by doing this.
Exactly.
So I'd love to dive into the book. So I have it right here. This thing is thick. This is like a textbook. If you show everybody who's on the video version of it.
I got one right here too on my desk.
Tell me more about it. Like, what can someone expect to get out of this book? How does someone get it? Because there's a lot in here.
It's on our website, gotimesuccessgroup.com. It's on Amazon, right? But basically it's insights and strategies to help in-home service companies. So it's not just, HVAC, not just electrical or not just plumbing. Any contractor that's engaging with in-home services can get a lot out of the 20 chapters that are in the book. I'll mention just a few of the chapters so the listeners can potentially take some interest. But at the backside of the book, transformational leadership, success principles, selling your business. That's a big one these days, right? These company owners are selling their businesses all over the place. Success planning, sales, marketing, financial management. KPIs, key performance indicators. And we go through KPIs. I believe it's on page 117, but we go through KPIs from the aspect of here's what the industry expects, right? For plumbers, for electrical contractors, for HVAC, for CSRs. There's metrics in there that would help an in-home service company become more successful with their day. We talk about recruiting. We talk about coworker development. We have, what it means to have a vision, a mission, core values, and developing your company's why. So the book's interactive, right? It even challenges you at times there's little exercises in the book, right? Where you have to do things. So it's really a good book. It's awesome. And thanks for touching on it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Did you
It's
did you flip to 117? Was I right?
you were right. It's the let me show everybody who's on the videos, but business performance metrics, target, and you break down a number of the different metrics. So, let's say percentages for HVAC service and maintenance. You got labor, COGS, cost of goods sold, parts and supplies, average ticket, closed calls. This is amazing. Yeah,
Oh, man.
this
Yeah,
is the
plumbing,
data.
electrical, marketing, the sample budget for marketing, leadership, time spent, right? Comfort advisors, HVAC technicians, HVAC maintenance technicians, kind of what are some of the standard benchmarks across the industry for what expectations are. Sometimes we might have a great service technician that ends up becoming a great manager that doesn't have access to these kinds of things, right? Without the ability to go online and look at things. Maybe they're not that kind of individual. They can see all this guidance right here from this book and start to understand how to hold their teams accountable.
Wow, this is incredible. Oh my gosh. Man,
Thanks, man.
I need to start my own HVAC. This guy.
Hey, you probably could out of the book. Ben Stark and Chris Hunter have done it many times, and these guys, hey, they wrote the book on it.
Oh man. So this is the book, and I think this is incredibly valuable, but I believe you also have the school, which I imagine will be more interactive than the book. I mean, the book's really valuable, but sometimes people just need someone to be able to walk through the concepts, ask questions. So could you tell us more about the school? And I believe you also have an online university as well.
Yeah, let's touch on the school first. Man, I'm excited about our school. So we have a location, a large training facility in Hurst, Texas. So our students fly into Dallas, Fort Worth, and they come to class. We have a residential build a tech class. It's 11 days. We have a residential HVAC install class. Notice we're kind of covering fundamentals, right? The install class is a 6-day class. I teach the full throttle sales class. So we have a sales class that's only 5 days. We cover our processes and ideally how to run a call, a lot about mindset, a lot of awesome stuff in there. We even have some disc profile stuff on the last day. But the class or the classes, the lab, if you look at like the pictures on our website, on GoTime's website, you'll see we have like 9 functioning working systems. We have inverter technology, we have mini splits, we have heat pumps, we have straight cool, we have gas furnaces. They're all ducted. Some of the duct runs there's bugs wired into stuff, and there's the pressure on some of the duct runs might be off, and that's the beauty of having the students come into class. We can show them what it looks like in real life to face these challenges in the customer's home, and then teach them how to benefit the customer or that customer experience by being able to solve problems better.
That's amazing. So this is live, all in person. They're getting that hands-on experience. And you said it was about 6 days or some of the trainings for someone.
Yeah, so the Build a Tech class is 11 days.
Okay.
It's a big one, but we can take a green technician, somebody that has very little industry knowledge. I would say they probably benefit themselves by having some. You should probably know what a capacitor is, right? What a relay is. You should probably know your way around the system. Maybe
Yeah.
just by doing ride-alongs for a couple of weeks with with a master technician at your company or something like that. But usually the students that we get are pretty green in the Build a Tech class, hence the word build a tech. So we do some soft skills, some communication training in there as well, not just all mechanical, but we cover a lot mechanical, high voltage, low voltage, refrigeration, charge, airflow, duct design. We cover a ton. So they get a huge takeaway. They also get how to communicate with the customer a little bit different, a little bit better. So typically we take a technician that's green and we turn them into a pretty awesome maintenance / light diagnostic technician inside of 11 days. So
Wow.
yeah, I know, man, pretty awesome. We're excited about that because we literally, like we said, we love to give back. That's developing the technicians, the owners, the leaders of the industry of tomorrow. virtually, 10, 12 times a year. So, what an opportunity to change lives. Residential install class, another fantastic one. That one's actually 6 days, Monday through Saturday. But what guys see most of the time, not just guys, girls too, but what our students see most of the time is faster processes, faster getting the install done, right? The guy that runs that class, his background is substantial in mechanical aspects of the company, um, of of the industry. And Daryl Otto's his name. He's just fantastic, super smart guy. But what students see and what they report back to us typically is, hey, it used to take our team, a solid day, two guys, a solid day to do a change out with some light duct modifications. Now they're doing, two, sometimes even three change outs in the same day. So just going to help them speed up through adding processes and simplifying a lot of things, and, putting things down on paper as to how to do it, how to handle it, what to do first. Avoid confusion, that type of stuff. So it's a very good class.
And how does all this differ from the online version? Or is the online class, is it like something similar where someone's doing it in the comfort of their home? Is it like pre-recorded video? Is it also like live streams? Like how do those two differ from each other?
Well, so the element of hands-on is not there inside of the university. However, I'll throw a little twist in there. We have a relationship with Interplay through the backside of our contractor university, and the university provides actually a lot of VR modules. So I say hands off in that regard, but truly it's kind of not, right? Because you're kind of working with these VR hands and a lot of modules, and you're replacing thermostats, or you're charging, or you're doing cool stuff. And we have HVAC, we have plumbing, we have electrical, but we don't just have the modules for Interplay. All the Go Time coaches, including myself, are dedicated and committed to adding content to that university all the time. So we actually have a lot of video content on there that we contribute as coaches and trainers as well. So it's not just the Interplay style platform with VR. There's a lot of video content in there as well on soft skills, on repair versus replace, just all these really cool things that are very good for technicians to know.
Wow, I didn't even realize that y'all could do virtual reality type training. That's next level. That's some next level stuff.
Yeah, cool, man. It's pretty exciting. And, we
Wow.
see a lot of companies utilize it for, larger groups of technicians. It's really cool because you can assign modules. And then as a leader or a manager in your business, you can actually assign modules and then look at kind of like a report card. Like there's like reports right behind the scenes. So, the guy that says, yeah, man, I logged in on Friday and I took that module. You can say, actually I haven't logged in since Wednesday at 8 a.m. So it's got a nice little tattletale side of it too, which is awesome because it allows leaders, managers, owners to hold their technicians accountable for some of these modules to complete. And it's just a great operation for. We even see companies use it for hiring events. We've seen the Oculus
Oh,
glasses and at a job fair where people are stepping up to the plate that don't have any industry experience, and they're trying to rewire a thermostat, right? Or based on learning some very basic stuff. It's just a very cool experience.
oh my gosh. Who would have thought 20 years ago we'd have all this
Hey, dude, amen.
stuff? Okay, so we talked about the book, we talked about the school, we talked about the online university and VR. Um, okay, how about the coaching and training? Because it sounds like everything you mentioned prior is more for the technicians. Is the coaching and training more for the business owner now and setting up their business? Can you dive a little bit more into that?
Yeah, no problem. So got some pretty stud characters in our lineup. You guys can go to our website, click on Meet the Team. You can look at some of the I call them thoroughbred racehorses that we have in the stable. Well, we got some pretty awesome guys on the team that do a lot of coaching that have kind of been there and done it. They've grown business, and they've seen explosive growth. They know about change management. They know a lot about what it takes to, design, develop, market, do everything for a company to, in some cases, even get it ready to sell to private equity. So, um, the coaching realm is not just for owners and managers though. uh, even myself, I have several companies that I coach and that I train, even on a weekly basis, that are just a room full of technicians, a room full of plumbers, a room full of electrical, electricians, electrical contractors. So, we do a lot of communication, a lot of kind of how to present yourself. I'm not going to say it's all kind of just soft skills, but a lot of even self-reflection as well. And then, Darylotto, who teaches the install class, he's very good at taking some of the mechanical attributes of our industry and taking it to the online. So live online in front of a room full of HVAC or plumbing technicians, Daryl's interacting with them from a mechanical realm and, teaching them whether it be, airflow or a true cost calculator or a true SEER calculation or, talking about split systems and what it means up in the attic to have dampers and just everything. This guy is just so talented and so smart. Instead of having like communication style segments on like kind of sales and how to present yourself to the customer, he teaches the mechanical aspects like a boss, like a boss.
That's awesome.
So kind of to give you the overview, right, on the coaching and training side, uh, companies can link up with us and have us do a lot of coaching and training for them. Sometimes business owners say to us, "Hey man, I'm at this point in my business where I'm growing and I just got out of the truck and I just stepped into the backside of this business and I'm really making things work. The downside is I don't have time to train my technicians, but I know how valuable it is. So we come in and, we do have time because this is what we do. And, we get to do what we're really good at. And these companies get to see some pretty excellent growth and change.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And I really like, and we'll definitely dig into a little bit later, but I'm curious on that self-reflection, like how you coach people through that, because it's so important, like understanding like how to improve yourself and digging in, especially the identity shifts. Sometimes there's beliefs that we have about ourselves that, yeah,
Beliefs,
yeah,
one of my favorite words.
yeah,
So
beliefs. Yeah,
let's think about this.
let's dig into it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's think about this. The most important sale in your life as a technician or anybody producing any type of an experience for a customer, the most important sale is that you have to buy yourself first. And what does that look like? What does it mean to buy you first, right? Do you have confidence? Do you treat the customer like there's confidence and swag in the way that you operate and run the call? What are things about yourself? How are you, when I say self-reflection, I mean, what are you doing right now to benefit yourself, your family, your company? You know, there there are all kinds of things we can do. Quit smoking, start eating healthy, go to the gym. If I want to get in a car and drive 150 miles an hour because that's what's important to me, then fine, do that. But what are you doing to present yourself to people in the aspect of there's enough confidence here in the way that I walk for you to understand that I buy myself. So you should buy me, right? You should buy my company. You should buy my process. You should buy my pricing. You should buy everything that I'm offering because I have that level of swag and confidence in the way that I approach a situation and offer an experience. It's all about the way that the experience is offered. So without getting too deep into the psychological aspects of the sales approach, I just kind of wanted to give you an example of kind of what I meant by self-reflection, right? So we have a lot of coaching and training outlines that talk about that and outline that type of stuff, right? That challenge these technicians to, hey, what are some important areas of your life that you think you'd like to focus on? What are they? Write them down. And maybe if you wrote down 3, let's take the top one and let's associate a time frame and a date of when this goal is supposed to be accomplished in your life. And then even better, we're going to hold you accountable to it. If you say you want to quit smoking in 90 days, you know how easy it is for me to take my phone and say, remind me every Monday to remind John or ask John if he had any cigarettes yet or over the weekend or whatever, if quitting smoking's a thing, right? So every Monday I send you a text. Hey man, how's it going? Are oh, it's getting better, right? I'm now I used to smoke 2 packs a day. Now I'm down to 1 pack. All right, cool. Well, what's the plan moving forward? I'm going to go down to 10. Oh, sweet. There you go.
Mhm.
Sometimes just that level of accountability, it helps. And inside of these companies that also starts to develop this kind of this infrastructure of everybody's got each other's backs. So the whole company starts to thrive because if I'm holding you accountable for personal goals by asking very basic questions and not making you feel backed in a corner, you start to feel like, hey, this dude's got my back. So, yeah. So not only do we do that, but I don't say that, I'm going to be the one to hold you accountable. I tell you to write down 3 things, pick the most important one, subscribe an action plan to making yourself better and turn it into your boss. And then your
Mhm.
boss is going to hold you accountable, right? But that's what coaching and training does. It gives you guys the ideas to be able to put things together like this and really start to give back to your people. That starts to really develop an environment and a culture of training and support, and that's where we thrive.
That's so beautiful, and it's a skill like that a lot of people aren't taught. It's not something necessarily that we learn in school, and the ability to properly set goals and then course correct as we go through time, and then also having that accountability portion. I think it's not only benefit to let's say the technicians, but also it's like you said, it's a benefit to the entire culture of the company
Yes.
because the owner said, "Hey, my team is so important that I want to invest this training in them." And it's not just with the technical skills that they're improving on, it's really their life. And that's a different type of I
That's
got
it.
your back.
But that's the whole thing, right? Like when you look at a lot of coaching and training companies that are out there, they're like, they're cookie cutter. They have a process. They say, this is the way you do it. And if you don't do it this way, then you're not going to get the result you're looking for. And we just think that that's garbage. We're principle driven. And what principle driven with Go Time means is that you should be able to take the principles that we teach you and add them to what you already do good, or maybe to, put them in the place of some other areas, and you should see success. Matter of fact, we guarantee it because we know what works. We know what's successful.
I love it. Principle driven. Yeah, it reminds me of the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Ooh,
And it's just
Covey,
Stephen Covey's good stuff, and
good
it's
stuff.
never about never about like let's say this particular result, but it's about living up to these principles. And the beautiful part about principles are that they're universal, and so
Exactly.
I love that you guys have distilled that down.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Appreciate
Um,
that, man.
okay, so I guess the last thing with Go Time we want to hop into was a Service Titan. And
Oh
we're,
man,
we're,
that's
we're
awesome.
talking about this prior to the call, and I'm excited for you to talk about it because I don't think a lot of people are doing this, and the value add it's incredible. So hop in, like what? Tell us
Yeah.
about what you're doing, Service Titan. How are you helping contractors
Well,
with
let me
it?
give you the why and the how. All right. So around February of 2020, um, ServiceTitan had connected with several companies throughout the nation that offer training and consulting to trades companies only. And they said, "Hey, we have this wonderful opportunity. We're thinking about launching a new pilot program called the Certified ServiceTitan Providers Program. And through this program, you'll be able to get certified through our software, and you'll be able to help customers in need, our customers in need, fix their accounts, fix their problem, log into their settings and fix things." So we were excited. We were like, heck yeah, man, let's do it. So myself, Dylan, Phipps, my operations manager, and Adrian Neff, who I can say is the first certified coach in the nation, and that she's on our team. She's absolutely awesome. But we said yes to it, and we started this training. So we were meeting several times a week with some kind of online stuff with some Service Titan employees teaching us. And everybody knows what happened in March of 2020. The whole entire nation shut down with COVID-19. So that program actually shut down for a short time. It wasn't until around September or October of the same year, 2020, that we re-engaged, and Adrian went full steam ahead and got certified. It's about, honestly, 60, 65 hours worth of work. There's about 50 modules, maybe 47 or so modules that we have to go through, and half of them are teachbacks. And when I say teachbacks, it means that you're on a screen like this, you're sharing your screen, and ServiceTitan presents you with a problem and says, how do we fix this? So you have to show them ideally how to fix it. Well, then that module gets sent, that recording gets sent to a very awesome individual, Danielle Combs, who runs that portion. She runs the Certified ServiceTitan Providers program, but she grades everything, right? So once you're certified, well, you're on the squad. So right now, GoTime's got 4 certified coaches, and yeah, the first 2 in the nation are certified under our belt, under GoTime's belt, which is a pretty cool thing to just say. It doesn't really hold any weight because I guess if you're certified, you're certified. But hey, man, to say that you're number 1 is really awesome. And we got the first Canadian coach. So I've got a coach up in Canada as well. His name is Jeremy Wickenhauser. This guy is an absolute superstar with the accounting side of things. He actually writes blog posts now for ServiceTitan on the accounting side. He's got a degree in accounting, and this guy is just an absolute superstar with the back end settings and, getting things worked out with numbers not looking right. So let me try to bring a couple things to light. Number 1, we're contractors. We've used this software in the field. Many of my coaches that are on the team that are certified ServiceTitan providers, they're business owners. Adrian, she's absolutely a beast in the software. Well, that's not just because she's good at the software, right? She actually is a second generation HVAC contractor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So she utilizes features like payroll, like commission splits, like estimate templates, like all these things, right? That some companies might struggle with. Adrian does this stuff on a daily basis for her company, right? So it's very easy for her to implement this type of stuff into other companies. Adrian's actually out right now on maternity leave, but she'll be back in the next coming weeks. I don't know exactly when, but man, she's awesome. So I kind of said that so I could say this. We're, as coaches and trainers in the software, we're not just good at the software. We're good at the business side too, and we're contractors. So we speak the same language. Recently I went to Pantheon and I volunteered some of my time to work the certified providers booth, and I worked the Torch Network lounge, and I had a good time with a lot of the ServiceTitan employees. But at one point I was standing at the certified providers booth and with Danielle, and Danielle had said something that I told her. I said, I'm going to take that and I'm going to use it because it just makes sense. So a ServiceTitan customer had come up to the booth and said, hey, what is this? Right. So Danielle explained what it was, right? It's a group of third-party contractors that can really help you kind of dial in your settings and And is there an expense to it? Yes, there is, right? She said, well, why would I use them if I can just use ServiceTitan? And here's what Danielle said, and it made perfect sense. Because at times, ServiceTitan employees speak geek. And when you hire a third-party company that does this, that is contractors, that has time in the trades, they speak technician, basically. So it adds this element of clarity to a business owner, because we're not just saying, here's a link to an academy video, check it out. Or we're not just saying, yes, click here, click there, and this is how you fix that problem. We're able to back up and explain the why, right? We're able to back up and explain it from the customer experience, which is super important, right?
Yeah.
So we're able to help a lot of contractors with their ServiceTitan settings and add clarity. And when they have clarity in the software becomes an asset instead of what we hear sometimes. They feel it's a liability. And I'll give you this as an example. Sometimes when we engage with somebody in the very beginning, they say, look, Joe, I'm frustrated. I'm pissed off, right? I've been paying X amount of money per month for the last, 12 months or whatever. And I just feel like we're at a place where we're in a breaking point. So to take somebody from a breaking point and offer them total clarity and create smiles, it impacts them. But let's take it a step further. It impacts their teams, because if they don't have a fundamental understanding of the software and the way it's supposed to be, run inside of their business, well, their technicians and their office staff don't either. So what that adds is a lot of mud to the water. And what they start saying is, oh, I'm not going to pull that report because it's never accurate. It's not right. Well, yeah, it is right if it was set up properly, right? The whole phrase there is garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So if it's not set up properly, of course, some of your metrics are going to be off. There are a lot of things that sometimes are completely missed during the setup of it. So we feel confident that we're able to help a lot of contractors get that level of clarity, that level of understanding, which kind of creates this sense of calm in their business. They start to see the software for what it is. It's an asset, and it's designed to make you money, not cost you money. Yeah, there's a cost to it, but to offer the best customer experience in the world, you got to pay for it. And that's what ServiceTitan is. It's the best customer experience possible. Well, it also adds to metrics and matrix and AI for running your business, reporting, all these types of things. Once they're dialed in and they're set up, like we're saying earlier, dude, you got this 10,000-foot view. You can start operating the company sometimes from the privacy of your own home. And that's where the magic starts to happen. People start to see it then as a tremendous asset, and they start to see that, oh, wow, okay, I understand now why it costs what it does or why I'm spending money on a monthly basis. It's no problem. It's got to, and that's the shift a lot of times that we have to allow a customer to see. Stop looking at it as, some level of detriment to your business as just this cost, right? It's not. It's a race car. You just have to learn how to drive the race car, right? So in order to take first place on race day, you got to learn how to drive it. Most of the contractors that we engage with, they don't even know how to start it. And if they can start it, they can barely get it out of first gear. So by the time they're done with us, we turn them into the Mario Andretti's of ServiceTitan. We turn them into full-blown race car drivers.
That's amazing. And so true on all your points. Just, if you don't know how to use it, you don't know what data to put in or where to look, you could have the most powerful tool in the universe, but if you don't know how to use it, it's basically worthless.
Exactly right. And that's the shift that we see, right? The customers go from feeling that it's worthless to feeling that it's an absolute benefit to their company and everybody that works there, because that's really what it does. It's designed to allow you to automate things and spend less time inside all these things where we're crunching numbers, doing all this stuff. We don't have to do all that when we have, the most elite in-home service software out there, firing on all cylinders.
Wow. And also it's like, you guys will save people time because yes, someone could try to learn this, but the amount of time, and I mean, we're also running a business, right? You're running a business and you're going to try to learn this software. I mean, prioritizing where's my time best spent.
We can even help there.
Awesome. Well, I loved all the shares with ServiceTitan. I loved all the shares with GoTime. I want to have a mindset next, but is there anything you wanted to talk about before we wrap up? Just talking about GoTime.
No, man, I just appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to talk about not just my company, but I almost feel like it's a way of life. All of us that work underneath the roof at GoTime, we're all over the country. We're Connecticut. We're all the way out to California. We're in Texas. We're in Florida. We're everywhere. But all of us, we really live out the core values of our brand, and it's attractive. It starts to create this kind of this vibe, this pulse. Yes. And when I'm around my fellow GoTimers, I feel great. I feel great because I know they care just as much about the end result as I do. They care just as much about the contractor and that experience as I do. And that's just a great feeling. So thank you for allowing me to come on and share some thoughts with you.
Yeah, with GoTime. And yeah, let's talk briefly about a mindset as we wrap up the podcast. One of the questions I'm curious about is I notice in certain people, right? There's people who are like good at a certain level, right? And it's amazing. But then there's people, and they're very few, but there's these people that just seem to break through, and they seem to be like a rocket ship, and it's just insane, like what they do. And I imagine you've run into contractors just like that, and I'm curious if you could just like if you could share your thoughts on what makes these people different, like it because it's rare, but when you see it, like it. So I'm just curious, like, what are some of those traits or what are some of those differentiating factors between someone who's like right here and someone who's like a rocket ship?
Yeah. So what I can start on here with mindset is the word attitude. because attitude is what drives our mindset. So even in my sales class, I have an exercise in the very beginning of my sales class where we try to explore what types of limiting style beliefs that you have in your life that you've carried with you, maybe even from your childhood, that equal maybe a recipe for some levels of disaster in your life. Could be personal life, could be business, right? But we talk about them, we write them down, and then guess what? We take them outside and we burn them. We literally burn them off, right? Because nobody needs that level of negativity in their lives. It literally makes you feel like you're trying to walk in quicksand or that you're stuck in mud. And, the difference is fundamentally that I recognize in people is if they want to receive levels of change and they want to see tremendous growth in their company, we always say, oh yeah, their mindset's got to be right. And people always kind of take that with a grain of salt. They're like, oh yeah, my mindset. Yeah, cool. But really it's not mindset, it's attitude, because your attitude drives your mindset. So, what are you doing to check your attitude at the door on a daily basis? And then here's what's most important about attitude. It's not just about yours. It's about your customers. It's about the people who you engage with on a daily basis. It's about your technicians. It's about your comfort advisors, your CSRs, whoever is around you, right? If you want them to have a positive mindset toward any type of growth or change, which is what we do every day, right? In life, we grow, we change. But if you want them to have that and adopt that positive mindset, it starts with their mental attitude. So what are a lot of things that we can do to make sure that their attitude is that is upward, that is positive, that is upbeat? Well, I can give you an example, just one example of how we can correct the attitude of a technician. I say this sometimes, and I even teach this in my class, but I say this sometimes even in my trainings. When you dispatch a call and it says, let's say it's an estimate, because I'm a sales trainer, right? So we're dispatching an HVAC sales estimate. And when we dispatch the estimate, it says estimate to replace due Tuesday at 2:30. And that's all we got. Right? Oh, cool. I'm a sales guy. I'm going to run the call. Thank you. I appreciate it, company. But what if we had this type of a setup? Estimate to replace, Yellow Pages lead. Customer is interested in financing. Both decision makers will be present, willing to move forward as soon as possible. Due Tuesday at 2:30. How was my attitude toward that call?
I see. Yeah.
Well, a lot of this stems from the setup and the way that we allow our technicians to arrive at these homes or these businesses or these engagements. If we give them the opportunity to succeed, they succeed. If we hinder them from the opportunity to succeed, a lot of times we find ourselves asking why. How'd that call go? Well, why didn't this go this way? Why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? That could be seen as a level of micromanaging. Some technicians don't like that. Hey man, get your finger off my back, right? So I say, give technicians, men, women, whatever, give them the ability to succeed by setting their attitude up for success. That first call didn't give me a lot of options. It didn't add a lot of clarity. It didn't allow me to paint a picture of success for myself. If I'm going to expect success from the tech, I need to give them what they need to be successful up front. That way they can run with it and they can have that better experience because I set them up for success. I didn't set them up for failure. Sometimes in dispatching and the things that we do right every day in these businesses, we don't put a lot of emphasis on those little tiny things, and those little tiny things make the largest difference in your company. It's whether or not you're getting the yes or the no at the end of the service call, period. Right. And there's all kinds of things that we can dive into, but I just wanted to give you an example of how we can correct the attitude of a technician by something as simple as just dispatching a call.
Love that. And just setting them up for success. I mean, all those additional details that you mentioned, it just helps them to contextualize and really, go there ready to succeed versus, hey, we're walking here blind, just sell it. And,
Hey, let's hope, right? Let's hope. Let's throw the pasta at the wall and hope it sticks. I don't know. When they have the other scenario they start to paint the picture of success. And matter of fact, they even say when they're reading the notes, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I got this one. Oh, they're interested in financing. Oh yeah, I got this one. And that's what we want. We want them to go out there and have that forward thinking nature. We are the best company. It is the right solution. It is the right price, right? We are fair. We are flexible. We did everything right. We do everything right. Then sometimes we're surprised at why we get a no. Well, dude, if the attitude's not right, which means the mindset's not right, you can't expect stars and stripes when you're walking in with this lull, right? How you doing today? And that's how some technicians are, right? If we set them up for success, like you said, like I said, if we set them up for success, we can expect better things to happen, bigger things to happen. So that's my take on mindset and attitude, right? There are so many other ways so that we can take this conversation, but hopefully that example made sense for your listeners. And that's really where it starts. Mindset is born inside of your attitude.
And then one addition I'll add to that is company culture might just be the sum of all of the company, all the company's attitudes in a sense, right? Because just thinking about it, it's like, yes, someone can have a certain attitude, but it's really the collective that forms the norms and the standards within that company. So yeah, it's the only thing I want to add. Just adding that.
Oh, you're right, man. You're absolutely right. You hit it spot on.
Amen to that. So I think we're coming up on the hour. So I think we're going to close up here pretty soon. If someone wants to get into contact with you, Joe, like how would they reach out? Is email, social media, like what's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah. So number one, GoTimeSuccessGroup.com. That's our website. Ton of information on the website. Number two, to email us, it's superteam@GoTimeSuccessGroup.com. We are a large team. We all have each other's backs. So when you email us, you email a team. So it's the super team at GoTimeSuccessGroup.com. Again, the book, it's on Amazon. It's on our website. It's awesome. It's a must read. It's a must have. Yes. Thank you for showing it off. Appreciate that. It's a wealth of knowledge. GoTime is a wealth of knowledge. I'm privileged to work around some of the sharpest minds in the industry. And yeah, if anybody wants to get in touch, please do let us know.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you for being on. A lot of great takeaways on mindset, on all the things that GoTime can do. I'm really excited. Hope some of you guys reach out because this could be what you need to take your business to the next level. So thanks so much, everyone. Take care, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.
Thank you for joining us for the HVAC Financial Freedom Podcast. Follow us on StreamYard, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and check out our main website, www.hvacfinancialfreedom.com, to find out how you can also achieve financial freedom.